Underwritten by Nico and Seamson Law Firm and the Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870 or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you. Here's Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning, Doug Sunseri. Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. Give us a call. 260-1870 or text us at the Oakland Heart Talk and Text line 260-1870. We do not have Albert, my wife, the boss, also known as the boss.
Depends where we are.
Depends on what day of the week it is and what time it is.
That's right.
Michelle, thank you for responding to my proverbial elbow and waking up this morning.
You're welcome.
Happy
to be here.
Yes. So Albert is on his...
today actually St. Patrick's Day?
I think it's the 17th, isn't it? Or the 16th? It's St. Patrick's and St. Joseph's.
Right, I know.
And so that they're 3 days apart. I do know. I think St. Patrick's is the 17th, if I'm not mistaken. And then St. Joseph's Day is the 20th. And Albert's having his St. Patrick's Metairie Road party today.
Yep.
So as we speak right now, he's unloading the liquor truck and stocking up in his for his party. He sort of has, I don't think he's Irish, but he sort of like has that.
He's Irish, isn't he? Italian?
Yeah, he's Italian, but he sort of appropriates the Irish tradition of maybe consuming large quantities of alcohol at a celebration. So we call that cultural appropriation.
Cultural appropriation. It could be either Italians or Irish.
Yeah, Italians are more wine. Irish are just anything that's got alcohol. No, they're more beer.
No, I think Irish are more beer and hard liquor.
Are they? Mm-hmm. So Albert's all of the above.
Yeah.
So now he gets upset when I'm always reticent to invite the general public to his parties, and he sort of gets when I walk in the office on Monday and somebody will tell him that, and he sort of just gives me a little stare, like you did it again, huh?
Yeah.
So I'm not. I guess we can, like, if you're in Metairie Road and you need a bathroom or you sort of alcohol, I think if you tell Albert you're a listener, just go in.
Just go in.
Just go in the house, and he's got several
bathrooms. How long have
bathrooms.
I been hearing this?
15 years.
Uh-huh.
So, but on his street, as we said, they have a big truck. And they have those. What do you call those? Like barricades or?
Yeah.
Where they're saying we're unloading.
Right. Yeah.
So he'll be unloading the truck for the next.
I'm sure they were doing that yesterday and last night.
Well, it's a long process.
Right.
And also too, just in case this ever happens, where there's prohibition is passed on a whim in the United States, Albert will have a supply that will last them until it gets repealed again.
There you go.
If he could have a speakeasy or something. So everybody's welcome.
Albert.
Everybody's welcome to Albert's party. You're invited.
Oh my
gosh. Also, we sort of had a late night last night.
We did. It was a great night.
We went to this, and New Orleans is probably one of the only towns that do this. We went to our 50-year. I went to 50-year.
Not mine.
No, mine. 50-year elementary school reunion or Catholic school reunion.
Yeah.
From St. Angela.
Right. It was fun.
Thank Missy Cheney, who threw a fantastic party. But probably we had 90 kids in our class, and I would say we had a 50% turnout for the people who show up, which is incredible.
Yeah, and people come from out of town.
Yes, they had Florida, Texas. And I think New Orleans is probably one of the only towns that would have elementary school reunions.
Probably. Probably one of the only towns where people still know the people they went to elementary school with. But I think it's a generational thing. I don't know if our kids are going to do that.
No, I don't think so.
My parents did it.
Yeah.
Our generation does it. I don't. I think there were two. I think that area got more transient. Well, especially on the North Shore, it's a little bit more transient.
Right. We grew up in neighborhoods where people.
Yeah, like people didn't move.
Right.
And then some of those people haven't still moved. Like they still live in the same area.
Right. They're still in St. Angela Parish, because we had, I think. Let me think about this. We had we had 90. I think we had about 90. But and they were very enthusiastic about coming too. I said, it's just a different. I guess it was just a different time. But you're right. We had neighborhoods. We had
like people did not move. If somebody moved, it was a
big
bizarre,
deal.
Yeah, it was a bizarre, weird deal. Yeah, everybody, the whole neighborhood celebrated when somebody got a new car, when somebody got a new baby brother or sister. I mean, it was a true community.
But that was it. But it was. Oh, my parents used to do the St. Anthony, or how they used to say St. Anthony's reunions up until just recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they would have them every 5 years.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it was fun. It was it's nice to see everybody.
A unique characteristic of New Orleans, because we were all talking about how New Orleans is probably the largest small town in the world.
Right.
I mean, we have a small town feel to us, even though we have a million plus in our metropolitan area, which is very unique. And it's very unique because when the out of towners come, they're like they feel as outsiders in the sense that they're like, what's going on here? Right. Why does everybody care where you went to high school?
Yeah.
And how everybody's connected. And you had a connection
last night
that was just with one of my classmates and their husband and their family, and so you can always tie it back. But it was a lot of fun, only in New Orleans.
And I think there's something about getting back together with people who knew you when you were little, and like some of those people have known each other their whole lives. So there's something special about somebody knowing that you for that long and watching you go through life.
Yes, because we've been having those reunions every 5 years.
Yeah.
So it was all different stages.
Sure.
And
so it was very nice.
Very nice. And this is next thing to talk about, which you love talking about, LSU baseball.
I love it. I do. I really do. But we're going to go to the Savannah Bananas tonight.
Yes, we are going to Savannah Bananas. The Superdome is hosting its first baseball game in 24 years.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh.
Because they used to have, when the Superdome first entered, they had a minor league team, was the New Orleans Pelicans. And they were the new New Orleans Pelicans baseball team. Because they had now the old timers will know this. My dad grew up across the street from Pelican Stadium, right off Carrollton and Tulane. But they had the old Pelican Stadium back in the late 1800s and all the way to about 1960.
And where was that located?
Where the Fontainebleau Hotel was.
Okay.
So they took down Pelican Stadium, they put up the Fontainebleau Hotel, and that was adjacent to the Basin Canal, which runs where the interstate does, going into New Orleans.
Okay.
So they had, you had to either cross a bridge or swim across the Basin Canal to get to the other side to tour uptown. So they had the Pelicans, and then in 1960 they went away, and then they came back. I think in late 1970s they were a AAA program for the St. Louis Cardinals. And in fact, Tony La Russa was a minor league player for it. Tony La Russa was a longtime manager who managed the Cardinals and won a couple of World Series.
Sure.
So then but they only lasted 1 year. And then the Zephyrs came in 1974, 73. In fact, the Zephyrs, Tom Benson was originally going to get a Double-A team moved from maybe Kentucky or Tennessee, and then the Zephyrs became available because the Colorado Rockies got a major league team. So they took the Zephyrs, and Mr. Benson was not happy about it.
Why?
Because he felt like, well, I'm the Saints owner. I mean, y'all should.
I got you.
And he was trying to expand his sports holdings, and that led up to some dissatisfaction that culminated in 2005. But so they had the Zephyrs, and then they used to have the Winn-Dixie Classic, where LSU, Tulane, and UNO would play a series against the like Texas or California in March, and so they had baseball there, and they'd have a couple of exhibition games. But besides that, but no baseball in the last 25 years. Now I'm interested to see with the Savannah Bananas as to how they're going to do the baseball configuration, because when they reconfigured the dome, they really reconfigured it for a football stadium,
right.
More of an oval rather than a circle. Like you had multi-purpose stadiums like Old Riverfront Stadium in Pittsburgh and, maybe like Oakland, Alameda, where you had like a circle so you could do football and multi-purpose, so you could do football and baseball, and you did neither well.
Right.
But now the dome is a different configuration, so I would suspect they're going to have like a very short left field wall or short right field wall because you're not going to have a true oval. But either way, it's great to have them there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm curious to see where our seats are, whether they're good for baseball.
Now, I think the only thing you could compare the Savannah Bananas to was the Harlem Globetrotters in their heyday, because I remember when the Jazz were in town, the Harlem Globetrotters came to the Superdome and they drew about 30,000 people.
Hey, did we meet the play-by-play color announcer as our Uber driver in Vegas?
Yes,
the Savannah Bananas.
Yes, that's right. He was.
Huh? I wonder if he's gonna be here tonight. He was super nice.
He was not. Yeah, that's right. He was because they were. It wasn't baseball season, so he was Uber driving.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, also last night, one of our classmates' wife was Jim Gallagher.
Yeah.
Old sports guy from New Orleans, who he left. Him, Lionel Bienvenu were Channel 4 forever, and they left in the late '90s maybe. And he's got his. Lionel, they had Trahan went to Dallas. Then they had Lionel went to Denver, and then Jim went to South Florida.
Is that where they are now?
That's where, but yeah, and he's no longer in front of the camera. He's behind the camera. He's got a production company. He does sports, and he also does commercials for attorneys. Like all over the nation.
But who we use?
Well, we do our own commercials.
I know, but we had a video.
Oh, Mike Haas.
Yeah.
Similar to Mike Haas. Like Mike Haas did several videos for us. And
that's interesting. He got into that. Why just attorneys?
Well, because of high demand. He's got all the ambulance chasing attorneys all over the nation. Yeah. So he does a lot of that.
Oh, he does ambulance chasers.
Yeah. So we won't be visiting. So, but he also does sports. He does a lot of golf features for the Golf Channel.
That's nice.
And behind the camera. So it was good. Hadn't seen, he's been out of the market for about 25. But he's very interested in the Saints. Now, one discussion, we're jumping around. He was like, man, I've been keeping up with the Saints, man. They're making some good moves. He said from the, outside in, he said, man, the Saints are really doing some things that are interesting and taking note in the league, because he's sort of out of it now.
Sure.
And so he's just getting the national perspective. And he said, man, y'all
so
looking
what is
up.
That? What moves are they doing?
Well, they had good free agency. They signed Leroy Etienne is how you spell it. He's from Louisiana. He's from the Jennings area, and went to Clemson. And he originally signed with LSU, but he originally committed to LSU. Ended up going to Clemson. Or Florida. Is it Clemson or Florida?
I don't know.
And he signed with the Saints to replace Kamara. They signed Noah Fant, who was a tight end. They signed Caden Ellis, who was he was originally drafted by the Saints from Atlanta. He went to Atlanta to come back to replace Demario Davis, which I think is a great move.
Did Kamara retire? Or is he
No, he's still under contract, but I think his days are numbered. I think they're probably either going to move him. And I think they signed Etienne because Jeremiah Love is the desirable player for the draft, but they don't think he's going to be available at 8. So I think he's going to go to the Tennessee Titans with Cam Ward, the quarterback. And so I think they had decided to go free agency and get their Alvin Kamara replacement.
Gotcha.
And they also signed a guard from Buffalo, which we really, really needed. But they're just taking note, and there's a lot of optimism about Tyler Shuck. They're saying, he really did some things that really were very eye-catching. So, and he said, what's the field here? And I said, basically, the descent had stopped probably mid-season last year, and now we're starting to climb. And that you sort of looking up and saying, there's a lot of optimism. And in this draft, you'll probably have more optimism in this draft in interest than you had in the last 5 years.
What number are we?
8. So I think we're either going. It looks like we're going to go after a wide receiver, maybe Cornell Tate from Ohio State. But there's a lot. There's going to be a lot of jockeying in between, and the Saints could have maybe gotten Jeremiah Love if they traded up, but I think those days of trading up is gone because I think that's all the
because of the free agency.
I don't think it worked well for them because you're giving up too much capital to get not enough benefit to move up. They hit a few times, but for the most time they didn't. So they gave away a lot of capital to move up, and the player they identified didn't pan out. So I think they're probably more apt to do the opposite of maybe dropping down a little bit and picking up some draft picks rather than doing what got them in a difficult situation before. And finally, we'll go back to LSU baseball.
Okay.
The game Friday night was just one of the great games in their they've ever to watch. They're down 10-4 against Vanderbilt. Came back, were up 12-10 in the top of the ninth. Jake Brown hits this bomb that looked like it could have been a home run, which would have gave another insurance run. They called it foul, and so they got out the inning. And Guidry came in, who pitched the eighth inning, 1-1-2-3 with 2 strikeouts, gave up 3 runs and a walk at the bottom of the ninth, and a walk-off with 2 outs. And it was just the kind of game that just takes the heart. Yeah, it was just the kind of game that just takes the heart out of you. And last night they just got run over 11. I think they got beat pretty good 11-7 yesterday. We didn't watch the game, but I was keeping up with it. So I hate to say it's a must-win game in your first series, but if you get in the SEC 0-3, you're in a big hole because there's 30 games in the SEC schedule. And the key to getting to the World Series is hosting regionals and super regionals. And the way to host is you have to get 17 wins. If you get 17 wins, you'll be able to host. If you get 15, 16 wins, you might be a second seed, but you're not hosting. And so if you go down 0-3, your margin of error for hosting gets small, short. In fact, 2 years ago when it came off the Skeens College World Series, they were 3-12 in the SEC in the first 15 games, and they were in a big hole, and they scrambled to get a second seed. They barely got into the tournament. They showed well at the end of the year. They did well in the tournament, and they got in as a second seed and then they went to UNC. They're not playing at the box. Ended up losing, and so I want to say it's a must-win game, but it's very, very important because if you can come out of Vandy 1-2.
What time are they playing?
They're playing at 3:00. Pre-game 2:30. First pitch 3:00 on Wwl 870Am, FM, Odyssey.com. Stay on WWL. So that's sort of a wrap on that. But
all right.
we're gonna go to the next segment. I'm gonna throw some questions about community property because you're like our community property, divorce, estate guru. And
that's what I do.
That's what you do. So I'm gonna throw some questions at you.
Okay, sounds great.
And sort of unusual things that how do they deal with
make my brain really work
on Sunday morning? It'll make your brain work. So
all
right. Well, let's go to break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Do you have this?
No, but you have to download it.
Laura said that's how we get it.
LSU baseball takes on the Vanderbilt Commodores today. First pitch at 3 p.m. on WWL, AM, FM.com, and streaming live on the free Odyssey app. Go Tigers!
The IRS is more aggressive than ever, and your tax problems won't disappear on their own. They're holding your life hostage, wrecking your credit, your peace of mind, and your future.
I'll do it.
Hi, I'm Danielle with Go Tax Resolution. We specialize in resolving delinquent tax issues and will help protect your bank account, your wages, and your assets. Don't wait another day. Don't bury your head in the sand. Regain your life. Call us at 985-722-1040 or visit us at gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
The IRS is ramping up collections, and that means more wage garnishments, bank levies, and aggressive action. Hi, I'm Caitlin with Go Tax Resolution. You owe back taxes. The time to act is now. Don't face the IRS alone. At Go Tax Resolution, we know how to protect your assets and your peace of mind. Call Go Tax Resolution at 985-722-1040 or visit gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday. Scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple. Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Bobby Hebert, KJ Cannon here. Look, FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single day through March 15th. From now till that final 68 is revealed, you're getting daily profit boosts for a chance at boosting winnings on your college basketball bets. Trust me, you don't want to miss a single day. Build a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout, or try live betting and jump in after tip-off. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. Just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. You're getting daily profit boosts for a chance at boosted winnings on your college basketball bets through March 15th. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of WWL Radio.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. Opt-in required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-7867.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Back to attorneys Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri on WWL. Stream all things legal and our time-shifted podcasts on Odyssey, TuneIn, and now on the iHeartRadio app. Or connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Tax Line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, all things legal. Okay, couple of things. First of all, I got to do one sports shout-out.
Okay, go ahead.
You see, LSU, Tulane, UNO, they used to always be perennial contenders in the NCAA March Madness. Mm-hmm. Those days are over. But we do have a Louisiana team.
Okay.
We have a little connection with McNeese State is going. And one of our clients is, and our NIL clients is Amir or Khan. He's the guy who carries the boom box out and leads the team and sort of went viral last year. And he'll probably go viral again this year. So we do some product deals with him. Mm-hmm. And great kid, fun kid, and he's
got a lot of personality.
A lot of personality. He's got, I think, over 100,000 followers on Instagram. He's sort of a influencer. But so we got a Louisiana interest to root for in the NCAA March Madness with McNeese. Maybe they can pull an upset like they did last time. And there's also talk that maybe Will Wade inquiries whether he would come back to LSU.
Really?
A little talk.
A little
they have to find the money. LSU's spent a lot of money, but I think a little talk. We'll see. We'll see. But congratulations to Amir. Hope y'all pull another upset in the first round and be a Cinderella team. Also, St. Joseph Day is the 19th. See, St. Joseph is like our family. I'm a Joseph Douglas.
Really?
Did you? J. Douglas?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They didn't call me Joseph, though.
I know.
They had to give me a nickname like Banana Joe, Little Joe.
Because there were too many
California,
Joes.
too many Joes. Pancake Face Joe. We never called Pancake Face Joe Sunseri to his face.
No.
Because
but Joseph has to be something more than an Italian name. Because my father his first name was Joseph, and we have no Italian in us.
Well, Joseph, husband of Mary,
Well,
so
yeah.
it's a big deal,
Yeah,
so you don't have to be Italian. Well, the Sicilians, the deal was the Sicilians had a terrible drought, I think in the sometime in 10th, 11th century, somewhere around there. And they prayed to St. Joseph, and then and St. Joseph gave them an offer they couldn't refuse.
Rain.
Rain. And they took it.
They took it.
So they honor him. So it's big. Well, it was big in New Orleans because of all the Sicilian immigrants that came over in the late 1800s and early 1900s, which was my great grandfather. So that's our day, which is the 19th. And okay, let's talk a little bit about your wheelhouse is community property.
Yep,
And a lot of times divorces.
Estate stuff.
Estates and community, which has a lot of overlap.
Sure, it does.
Because they have the same concepts.
Property's property.
And so there's a couple things about community property I want to talk about. And this is just generally, and divorce is a bad deal. I mean, nobody goes through.
Nobody wins.
Nobody wins. Nobody goes through when you go beginning to end. They said, that was sure a lot of fun.
No, I don't ever get thank you cards. We get appreciation stuff, but not like, gosh, I'm so glad I did that.
Yeah, it's just navigating through a horrible situation, but community property works a little differently because you might have had situations where one spouse really mistreated the other spouse or wasn't a good spouse and maybe mistreated the kids or just it was a bad deal, and one spouse may have been holding it together.
Stellar.
Yeah, that's a good way, and the other spouse was, I want to say innocent party, but they were maybe less culpable. But one thing that's confusing for clients is when they say, he treated me so bad, he did A, he did B, he did C, or she did A, B, and C, and they just treated me horribly, and I want you to get them in my community property settlement.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Well, right. And so you have to explain, those two issues are running on two different train tracks.
Right, that's a good way to put it.
And so basically, no matter what the behavior is during the marriage, the community property is a math problem.
Correct, always a math problem.
And so how does the math problem work, just generally?
Generally, the math problem is anything assuming you have no prenup, assuming you have not made an agreement before you got married, or within 1 year of moving to this state. Every asset and every liability you incur from the time you walk down the aisle and say I do until someone files for divorce is an undivided 1/2 of each party. So it's 50-50. And then from that you can get reimbursements, but a lot of people have a lot of reimbursements to the community, meaning they've used their separate stuff to buy community assets or to settle community debts. But typically if you have people who got married when they were young and neither had anything, didn't inherit anything, it's 50-50. No matter what the behavior was.
And that's sometimes when you convey that, it's a very emotional process for the client. In other words, there's high emotions, and there's a lot of degree of hurt, a lot of degree of pain, a lot of degree of, maybe acute pressure, where sometimes you're not as clear-headed about certain things. And so when you feel like you've been wronged, a lot of times the clients will say, well, this has to be addressed in community property. This has to be addressed. And you have to delineate that the community property is going to be split 50-50 no matter
Yeah, I've never had anybody say I need to get somebody in the community property. I think the biggest misconception people have is that, well, my name wasn't on it, or
Okay.
her name wasn't on it. And it's interesting that, okay, so we're Catholic, right? So before we got married, you have to go through pre-Cana and all that. It's interesting that they don't do it in that pre-council,
Process.
whenever they don't explain what the law is or what the legalities of community property are, or there's no for people to understand and to make, I guess, to make a knowledgeable decision. And I'm not saying I think community property is probably the fairest way, because I understand in some states I could have my separate property and a court could deem it's marital and give it to the other side. That's never happened in Louisiana. Your separate remains your separate. Now,
Like-
you can get growth from it, but a court can never take away what is legally yours
was originally
separate.
given.
And that, to me, is a more some certain than you would find in other states with equity or
Right. Now, and before we go to a break, we get this question a lot. I'm about to inherit money from my parents. Is that community or separate?
it's separate,
Mhm.
with the caveat that anything that grows from it is community.
So let's say if someone inherited $100,000,
Okay.
and they had dividends and interest payments from that. Explain what would be separate and what would be community.
The dividends and the interest is community. It's civil fruits. It's things that grow from it, from your separate. So the 100,000 will remain yours. What grows from it can be community. Now, it depends. I say that assuming that is just cash.
Mm-hmm.
If it's stocks and stuff, a stock appreciation, the growth of it is still yours. Think of it as a tree. Tree grows taller, you still own the tree. The tree produces apples, the apples belong to the community.
That's a good analogy.
So those are the fruits.
Y'all Dominican girls are pretty smart.
Well, thank you. So you have to. So you have to bring it back to whatever the asset was. But yeah.
Were you upset when Amy Barrett was elected Supreme Court?
No, I wasn't.
And because you're like, now you're just 1A as far as a famous Dominican grad who's a jurist.
There's many others. There's a lot. There's many good attorneys that
so
came
she,
out.
I mean, I don't think she leaped you, but she was, she's
not with her decisions lately. So.
All right. Let's go on that one. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after a brief time out.
All things legal on WWL. Live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you. Listen to our time-shifted podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me.
Hey, Doug, you didn't happen to catch the Tyler Shuck video at the Bananas last night, did you?
And
no, I didn't.
Oh, yeah, he made an appearance. You got to go. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
All right. I'm going to...
Get your free quote at
ethos.com/protect.
That's ethos.com/protect.
Did you,
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions
Well,
required.
that was last night, so.
25th annual March 18th, 21st, Wednesday to Saturday. Biggest ever, more deals.
I heard the Superdome was packed.
One deal, one free, and more. 60,000. Eggs.
Wow.
Eggs. Don't
They're
miss
going to have
out.
another 50,000 today.
World War II was won by ordinary people, just like you and me.
Yeah, but you were right. The way the field is configured, I think it's right field that's extended a little bit longer than left field.
Yeah, yeah.
And in their stories, we find strength within. Find the extraordinary inside at the National World War II Museum. Visit nationalww2museum.org for tickets.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
You bet I'm worth more.
We completely agree. At GiveMeTheVin.com, you are worth more, and your car's worth more. And we want to pay more for good cars that Give Me the VIN, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if we don't beat a deal from Carvana or CarMax, we'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car.
GiveMeTheVin.com. So when you have a field, you're going to have a very short.
The Home and Garden Show is finally back, presented by Entergy. Friday, March 27th through Sunday the 29th at the Caesars Superdome. This annual event showcases over 200 exhibits featuring the latest products for your renovations and home improvements. Plus, you can register to win a free home generator. And for the first time ever, it's the Greater New Orleans Boat Show. See 2 great shows for one low price. See all the latest and greatest in recreational boats, pontoons, sports boats, personal watercraft, and center consoles. See it all under one roof at the Caesars Superdome, Friday, March 27th through Sunday the 29th.
Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business, and let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Fontes. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com.
Hi, I'm Doug Sunseri with the new Sunseri Law Firm and host of All Things Legal on Sunday mornings on Wwl 870Am, FM, and .com.
And I'm Michelle Demarest Sunseri. Let the Sunseri Law Firm help you with your estate, probate, family, and business issues.
And I'm their daughter, attorney Katie Sunseri, and we do make the complex understandable.
Call Doug and Katie at our Metairie office at 504-214-9111.
Or you can call me, the boss lady, in Mandeville at 985-624-9697.
Katie, tell everyone who's really the boss.
I'm taking the fifth on that one.
Shag's Fishing Tackle Extravaganza, biggest one ever on Veterans Highway, March 18th through 21st. Free deals, buy one, get one free deals, best prices in town. Shag's Tent Sale, 18th through 21st, Wednesday to Saturday, don't miss out.
Are you struggling with hearing loss? Do friends and family complain that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to repeat themselves? If you want to hear clearly again, but don't want a bulky hearing aid that makes you look old, you need to try Adam X by Audion Hearing. The Adam X is a life-changing breakthrough, precisely designed by top audio engineers, fits comfortably in your ear, is nearly invisible, and lets you adjust your sound so you can hear conversations clearly, at home, at dinner, or on the go. And right now, you can try the Adam X risk-free for 45 days. Call Audion Hearing now at 800-295-HERE. That's HEAR for a 45-day risk-free home trial with free shipping and money-back guarantee. The Adam X is lightweight, rechargeable, practically invisible, and costs 90% less than prescription hearing aids. Don't miss out. Call 800-295-HERE for complete details. That's 800-295-4327. Hearing for everyone. Audion Hearing. Back to All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico. Stream WWL and the shows you love on Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps. Or join us on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Ah, va bene, va bene. Sì. Buon, io amo. So,
Working on your Italian.
working on it. Yeah, absolutely. That's it. Thanks to Coleman. Coleman does a bang-up job. Coleman is the hardest working part-time guy on the face at WWL.
It's the first time I'm working with Coleman.
I know, he's awesome. He keeps us on time. Great music.
Good
Thanks so much, Coleman. Talking a little bit about community property. We'll probably talk a little bit about it after we go to the next hour. But okay, you're talking about
what I was saying was it's a shame that they don't give classes or information, and I don't know if it would change. I'm not a I'm not a proponent of prenups. I'm just not, because I'm a proponent of marriage.
Right.
I do think declarations of parapherналity are good,
Yeah.
which are I'm going to use it very layman's terms. It's a document that you sign that says what is my separate remains my separate, meaning, i.e., you don't get the apples off of my tree.
Okay.
And it used to be that you could do that and file it in the parish in which you owned any property, and you didn't have to tell a spouse.
Right.
Of course, you can do it when you're single in anticipation of marriage, and you don't have to tell anyone. But you can't do while you're married. You have to you have to let your spouse know. They don't have to agree, but they have to know. Those I can understand, but I think there should be some type of way that people understand what community property looks like, what it means. It doesn't mean you have so many people saying, "Well, I never commingled my money." Well, that's great. So your separate remains your separate, and in digital age of banking, commingling is not that big of a deal. Where in the past, commingling was huge because you didn't have the ability to do all this
To
forensic to
reconstruct
reconstruct it. So
right now, like for you saying prenups, a lot of times, if you're in a second, third marriage, and you got our kids, your kids, and our kids, sometimes you do structures to prenuptial agreements for obvious reasons to maybe keep certain assets separate.
Well, you can do that with a declaration of parapherналity rather than not being in community.
Yeah, so it's accomplish a lot of the same things, just a different way.
Right, and sometimes people do prenups that only contain declarations of parapherналity, and that's great. I mean, I don't have a problem with that as long as everybody understands.
Yeah.
But what always saddens me, or especially if I have the client that they come to me and they say, I signed a prenup, now she wants a divorce or he wants a divorce, and there's nothing in that spouse's name, nothing, no car, no nothing, and they walk away without anything. And they could have, let's say it's the woman, she worked in the home, which is to me a harder job. I'd rather go practice law. I think it's a much easier job than being at home full time with a house full of kids. That's tough. And they walk away with nothing because there was a prenup and she or he didn't know to get some assets in your name, have some monies transferred over to you.
Right. Yeah, it's always sort of an awkward thing, especially like if you're in your early 20s and you're like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I love, all the gooey stuff, and they say, yeah, but sign this. It's always a tightrope to walk.
Sure. And listen, there are some situations where when I've done it that I understand.
Yeah.
But
it's as far as well, okay, let's talk a little bit about the prenups. What's the difference between timings of prenuptial agreements and declarations of parapherналity?
A prenup you need to do it before marriage, with a caveat. And a prenup essentially is where you're opting out of the community property regime. So you're saying, I do not want to be under Louisiana laws of community property. I want to be under just co-ownership laws. And so what's in my name is mine. What's in your name is yours. Never shall our stuff mingle.
But you can do a declaration of parapherналity after you're married.
After you're married, yes.
But you just got to give notice to the spouse.
Right, because that's not changing your legal regime.
Yeah.
You're still in community property. It's the change of the legal regime that has to either the opting in or out has to be done before marriage, or you can do it during marriage with court approval.
Okay, and we got about 1 minute. Can you get a community property division during marriage?
You can get a property division during marriage. You can't change your legal regime without court approval.
Right. So if you wanted to get a property division during your marriage, there's a process for that, but you have to get that approved by the court.
You can divide your property any day of the week. You can't change your legal regime
Gotcha.
without court approval. Yeah, dividing your property doesn't mean I could divide all my property right now, but it doesn't mean the stuff I get tomorrow is not under community property laws.
Gotcha. All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Get the WWL shows you love delivered to your phone free. Download the Odyssey app and follow your favorites. Bobby Hebert, Mike Detillier, Steve Geller. Listen when you want, how you want. Or tell your smart speaker, play WWL. Keep it locked on WWL for breaking sports news. Powered by BetMGM. Smarter bets start with BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app or visit BetMGM.com today. WWL is proudly sponsored by Dudley DeBosier Injury Lawyers. Call 444-4444.
That's 444-4444. Not attorney spokesperson.
No, Dudley DeBosier got bought out by
Look, right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days if your bet loses.
They have
Here's
a
how
way
it
they
works.
can sell you
Place a
from
tournament bet, use the
back
token,
office.
and if it doesn't win, you'll get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 straight days. That's 10 chances to play all tourney long, from game props and money lines to spreads, totals, future, and so much more. And you can even mix things up with same-game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to fill out your bracket, FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the action day after day. So visit FanDuel.com/local to sign up today. FanDuel, it's time to dance. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of WWL Radio.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. Must apply select token each day. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Tokens are received in increments of 1 per day. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-7867.
Newell here. If you haven't been to Vaca Steakhouse, you owe it to yourself to go. Expect an elegant setting and one of the best steaks you've ever put in your mouth. And if you're observing Lent and eating more seafood, Vaca delivers with panko-crusted shrimp, stuffed Gulf fish, crawfish and truffle mac and cheese, and crab cakes to die for. Extended happy hour weekdays from 4 to 8, plus Wednesday, girls' night, and Thursday, date night. Vaca Steakhouse in the former Peppermill on Severn and Metairie. Treat yourself
They had
and
a hedge
enjoy
fund
an
that-
experience to relish and
that,
remember.
This health awareness update is brought to you by Primary Care
That's
Plus. March is
MMA.
National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. Colorectal cancer is now the leading cause of cancer death in adults under
Yeah,
50,
I was
and is the
able
only
to.
major cancer where mortality is still rising
spent-
in younger adults.
we
Don't
spent
assume you're too young, as early detection screenings are recommended starting at age 45. For screening options including colonoscopy or home-based testing, speak to your providers to determine which is best for you. This health awareness update is brought to you by Primary Care
million
Plus.
was a lot
with
more
13
efficient.
locations in Louisiana. Primary Care Plus, your doctors for life.
Bonvenue Bank, a bank built by Louisiana people for Louisiana people. A bank committed to both customer service and community service. A bank on the move throughout Louisiana, opening doors to opportunity. To
Hey,
growth
Coleman, how long
and
we gonna
a
have?
brighter future for the place.
We come back at a minute 30, so probably about a little less than 2 minutes.
Okay, gotcha.
40 years of
Maybe like a minute 45 seconds.
Bonvenue Bank, built to be here. Member FDIC.
Register now for the 2026 LCMC Health Crescent City Classic, presented by Michelob Ultra, Saturday, April 4th. The only second line with a finish line. Sign up at ccc10k.com.
REF delivers fiber-powered technology for your home and your business. Call or click today.
Hola, amigos! Brad Evans here. Check out this booming voice and Pat Boyle on BetMGM tonight, covering the biggest sports stories from coast to coast, live and interactive on the free Odyssey app, discussing NFL offseason news and getting you ready for the madness in college hoops. BetMGM tonight with me, Brad Evans and Pat Boyle, live and interactive, Monday through Friday night, starting at 6 Eastern, presented by BetMGM. Always live on the free Odyssey app and watch on YouTube at BetMGM tonight.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast,
Well,
did you
we're
just
gonna
see
we're
that
only gonna
play?
have about
Yeah, he
a
vaporized that
minute,
ball.
so I'm just
That
gonna
pun
preview
should have
next.
come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat
I was
pain
gonna ask
with
you
Vicks
about
VapoCool
community
drops.
property,
Use as directed.
crypto.
What? Oh, crypto?
gifts to mistress.
It's all things legal on WWL and streaming live on the Odyssey, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio apps. To consult with Doug Sunseri or Albert call their office at 504-837-1304 or connect now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest. Sunseri, all things legal. Getting ready for that. Getting ready for that Metairie Road.
That's right.
Irish parade.
I haven't been to that parade in probably 20 years.
Yeah, Albert used to invite me.
Yeah. Did you go? Did you like to go?
Yes, I did. But we were doing a show, so
yeah,
I cover for him.
Yeah.
But yeah. But he quit inviting me, I think, when I invited the general public to go.
Yeah, I think that would stop it.
I mean, I in past years, I would tell them exactly where the bathrooms were as you walk into the house. And I used to say, like, if you go to the house, you just go straight to the back, and that's where the bar is. It looks like the Sistine Chapel back there, with the ornate artwork and all the libations. So. But I'm not going to do that this year.
No,
I'm not going to identify the location of the booze. No. I'm not going to identify the location of the bathroom.
Where the bathroom is. I've never even been in his house, and I think I could find the bathroom.
So there you go.
But you know what's interesting is that the St. Patrick's Day parade for Slidell was last weekend, and my friend and paralegal rides in it. It's huge. It's got like 400 floats.
That's absolutely.
And I've never been to that one either.
All right. Well. We got another hour. Stay tuned to national news, local news. We'll be back in about 10 minutes on all things legal. So we'll see you then.
Perfect.
The Big 870 AM WWL New Orleans, 105.3 WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, an Odyssey station.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Stacey Lynn. Operation Epic Fury has now entered its third week. Israel says it launched a new wave of strikes, and Iranian forces have fired back at both Israeli and American targets. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi told CBS's Face the Nation,
"We never asked for a ceasefire, and we have never asked even for negotiation. We are ready to defend ourselves as long as it takes, and this is what we have done so far, and we continue to do that until President Trump comes to the point that this is an illegal war with no victory."
On CNN, U.S. Ambassador to the UN Mike Waltz says progress has been made.
This has been a dominant victory, the likes of which we haven't seen in modern American military history.
As the war continues, though, it's expanding in the region. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is in Beirut.
It really breaks my heart to see the Lebanese people suffering so much. 800,000 displaced, 1,500 dead. We must stop this war.
In Rome this morning, Pope Leo called for an immediate ceasefire in the war.
La violenza non potrà mai portare alla giustizia, alla stabilità.
He said violence will never bring the justice, stability, and peace that people are waiting for. Tragedy in Louisville, Kentucky. A woman was killed when she was hit by a St. Patrick's Day parade float. Norman Seawright is with WLKY TV.
A woman's been killed in the St. Patrick's Day parade in the Highlands. She was walking in the parade when she fell and got caught under a float she was walking next to. She was then taken to UofL Hospital, where she died.
Wild weather across the country. Meteorologist Andrew Kozak has that.
Wisconsin, Marquette, Michigan, between 2 and 3 feet of snow. Heat across the desert Southwest. Los Angeles this week could have seen triple-digit heat, some of the hottest temperatures that we would ever see in March for the desert Southwest.
It is Hollywood's biggest night. The Oscars will be handed out from L.A., and CBS's Deborah Rodriguez on who could win big.
This could finally be Timothée Chalamet's year to stare out at the audience and say thank you.
He's the youngest person to garner 3 Oscar noms since Marlon Brando.
But Variety's Clayton Davis says he hasn't won one yet. Here's a bonus, though, for nominees. Even if they don't win, they still get that massive swag bag worth about $350,000. Conan O'Brien will host. The show starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at jtv.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-265-7681. 800-265-7681. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-265-7681.
WWL First News. I'm Dave Cohen on your official weather station, WWL.
Your Sunday's going to be great. To be outside, it'll be warm in the 80s with mostly sunny skies, but tonight that all changes. Thunderstorms roll in after 10 p.m. A few strong storms are possible, and then sharply colder. Tomorrow's highs only in the mid-50s with strong north winds.
WWL TV meteorologist Peyton Malone says Tuesday morning, cover those plants to protect from frost and freeze. More TSA agents are quitting or calling in sick as they're called on to keep working without getting paid until Congress passes a funding measure for Homeland Security. Armstrong International Airport officials are urging flyers to show up 3 hours early today and tomorrow with peak travel periods so they have enough time to get through the limited TSA checkpoints. Some better news for crawfish lovers. Mud bugs are getting more affordable. The prices dropped up to 50 cents over the last 2 weeks to a current average of $4.15 a pound live. $6.83 a pound.
All right, there's a text message that says, how is a pension and a 401k divided when there's a divorce?
That's a great question.
Parade rolling through Old Metairie.
We'll go to it.
Other food and throws.
That's a great question.
Yesterday was the Irish Channel St. Patrick's Parade.
Are you kidding me? This is excellent. I am loving this. This is the best. Marvelous. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
WWL TV's Lily Cummings tells us Mardi Gras Indians are celebrating this afternoon.
New Orleans black masking Indians who are celebrating Super Sunday both uptown and downtown today. Downtown, a procession will begin at Orleans and Moss. That ends at Hardin Park. Uptown, there are parties and shows at the Dewdrop Inn to get everyone in the spirit. The main event starts with a procession beginning and ending at A.L. Davis Park.
NOPD has posted warnings urging people to leave firearms at home and not bring weapons to Super Sunday.
WWL Sports is brought to you by People's Health. The LSU baseball team got violated by Vanderbilt and the Whistler once again after an 11-3 drubbing.
Vandy able to cruise on to victory. Pick up their 13th win of the year, move to 13-7. More importantly, 2-0 in SEC play. The Tigers fall to 13-7. They are 0-2 in SEC play.
The story was a combination of missed opportunities and a struggling bullpen. After keeping it close early, the floodgates opened in the fifth
stadiums
inning.
in the
LSU
SEC
pitching has now surrendered 24 runs
prohibit
over
the
the first
Whistler,
2 games of this series.
comma the
Offensively,
Vanderbilt
the Tigers were held to a
baseball
season of 4
fan
hits,
who whistles
unable
the
to stop the
entire
Vandy
game
Arms in a game that felt like it was over
from
by the
whistling
6th
during
inning.
the game.
LSU looks to salvage this weekend with sophomore William Schmidt on the mound today. First pitch is set for 3 p.m. Pre-game coverage 2:30 on WWL and the Odyssey app. Steve Geller, WWL Sports.
Now, the Serve Pro Cleanup, Restoration, and Construction forecast on WWL.
Your Sunday's going to be warm and mostly dry. Highs will climb into the 80s with sunshine, and then tonight it all changes. We've actually got a chance for strong storms tonight, anywhere from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. That'll all clear out by tomorrow, and it'll be sharply colder and windy for your Monday. Highs are going to stay in the 50s tomorrow and in the 50s on Tuesday. I do have a light freeze on the North Shore Tuesday morning. Wednesday, we're back in the 60s, Thursday in the 70s, Friday in the 80s. From WWL Louisiana, I'm meteorologist Pete Malone.
And I'm Dave Cohen, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico. Underwritten by Nico and Seamson Law Firm and the Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Hart Jewelers talk and text line 504-260-1870 or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you. Here's Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, hour number 2, All Things Legal. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri. Albert is off this morning. I have to say that it's so much more pleasing to the eyes to watch you doing on Sunday mornings as opposed to
thank you.
looking at Albert through the
Thank you.
monitor.
Yeah, plus you're not in here by yourself.
So, it's just nicer to not that sometimes Albert's a little rough in the Sunday mornings after you've been out all night.
Well,
so.
At least you're not picking him up anymore in the morning.
No, when we have to go in the studio, I pick him up. Before we get into it, the LSU Vandy game, if you ever listen to an LSU baseball game when they play Vandy, you got to listen to that idiot, the Whistler.
I wish you wouldn't have said that Friday night, because then that's all I could hear.
That's when we're listening to the game. I mean, that's just.
I think it's noise pollution.
Well, it is just horrible to listen to when they play. I mean,
can you imagine having your season tickets next to that guy at home?
They apparently don't mind. They don't let him do it. It is the most obnoxious noise I think I've ever heard.
I don't even understand the purpose of it, because it's consistent. It's not like when they score or if the other side scores or when there's a bad call. It's just consistent.
I mean, it's just.
There'd be no way he could live in my house.
And I was wondering, and I looked this up. I know, like, he travels with the team too, so he goes to all away games. I'm wondering if any teams tried to stop him, and
it's enough to make me angry.
I know. At Mississippi State has warned him to stop whistling.
And listen, that's bad. They're the cowbells. So if the cowbells are offended by the whistler, you know it's bad.
That's right. So Mississippi State has actually removed him.
Good for them.
Also, the Arkansas Razorbacks have removed him, and LSU has warned him because they have a policy of disruptive behavior. Now,
everybody should.
I think the city of Baton Rouge ought to pass a city ordinance
that says
specifically banning him from whistling.
That no consistent high-pitched whistling.
I will go up there and lobby that in front of the East Baton Rouge Parish Council if I had to.
Yeah, that's enough to see. If I was a player, I don't know if I bought a ticket and I had to sit next to him.
So when you listen to the game, you see, I'm a really spoiler for people. If you listen to the game, don't let it disrupt your listening to the game.
You said that Friday night we're listening to the game. That's all I could hear.
Oh my gosh! So that's why I hope just to beat Vandy just because of that, man.
Yeah,
jeez. All right. So the Whistler, good riddance. At least we get him out first game, and then we'd have to deal with him if we play him in the SEC tournament or if
Do
we
you
have
think
to play.
The team likes it?
I don't know. If I had a player who was between Vanderbilt and LSU and I'm recruiting him,
I'd say LSU.
I'd just play that stupid Whistler. So you got to listen to that for 4 years.
That's funny.
All right, let's get back to law, I guess. We're talking about community property and how that works, and sort of a 50-50 deal. But you get into disputes on how to deal with 50-50, and you also have something called reimbursements. Now, I'm going to throw some situations at you that you may be able to get a reimbursement, even though that the money was maybe utilized during the marriage. Okay, sometimes, unfortunately, marriages dissolve because of unfaithfulness, mistresses, and affairs.
Mm-hmm.
What if one of the spouses spent an inordinate amount of money of the community money buying the, and I'm gonna say this is probably with the
Let's
dudes.
call it the Paramour.
What I know, that's another
You know, we were
debating
watching.
word.
No, we were watching. I was watching Pan Am yesterday. Well, they use the word Paramour.
They use Paramour.
Yeah, so
I
it
never
must be
heard
a
of that word
60s.
until you
Must
told
be
me.
yeah, Paramour is like a girlfriend or
A boyfriend.
boyfriend or.
Right. Or
I don't know what I've never looked up like the true like Webster's definition. I don't think it has anything to do with dating while you're married. I don't think it has to do with that. I think it's just anyway. A paramour would be the girlfriend and the boyfriend.
Right. So let's say, okay, but I'll use this specific example just because I'm a guy. If a man had a mistress and lavished her with jewelry and all kinds of gifts,
okay,
but he used the community money to do that, can you maybe get that back?
You can get half of that back.
The problem is identifying it.
Well, yeah, like let's say, for example, you allege that, and then you had his American Express credit cards that showed he was buying flowers and jewelry, or let's say he was buying jewelry at, Michael's Jewelry or whatever, and you weren't the one to get it. I mean, it's going to be a he said, she said, or they'll have produced what the item is.
Well, we'll say the Oakland Heart, since it's the Oakland Heart.
Oakland Heart, that's right.
Texan talk line.
Yeah, well, Oakland Heart's going to know because they have great receipts and they keep great records.
So if they get a subpoena saying I want some.
Well, and let's say this would be super easy. Let's say the paramour, has got big hands and she wears a 7, and you wear a 5. Well, they didn't buy it for you.
There you go. So you can. So that might be an exception where you can get a reimbursement.
It's not. It's not a might be. You just have to prove it.
You have to prove
definitely
it is
a reimbursement.
Definitely a reimbursement, and that probably becomes an issue at times.
Yeah, it can. And it used to be like when I first started practicing, they would say and it's just this is how society has changed. If you had gambling, that used to be not so. The definition of a community debt is it has to benefit the community. So it used to be argued that somebody's gambling debt or somebody's DWI did not benefit the community. Mm-hmm. Therefore, you get a DWI and you spend $5,000 on a retainer for the attorney. The community was owed a reimbursement back. But now, the jurisprudence has changed. Society has changed. Gambling is now, more looked upon as normal, I guess. I guess DWIs are looked more upon as normal, or if you're paying $5,000 to get a spouse out of the DWI, that benefits the community. So,
yeah, I'm gonna divert for a second. Gambling is very interesting because when I was back in my agent days and working with the Saints, they used to tell us to stay away from casinos, stay away from gamblers, stay away from bookies or whatever, and they were like very, very, very upfront about that. In fact, I remember we went to a fight in 1989 when Jimmy Johnson just got hired by the Cowboys, and we were a couple of players, and he had said, "Y'all be careful in here. They don't like us in here." Right. That was his quote. He says, "Just be careful, and they're watching." And so now it's just interesting that we have the Caesars Superdome. So things evolve, not better for worse, whatever.
When we watch the sports on TV, some of the Sports King or whatever, that's the advertiser.
Yeah. So it's
you're not only not staying away from it, you're being
right. So it's changed. We're just saying it's changed.
I'm not making not making a judgment as to whether it's good or not.
Especially since they're sponsoring WWL, a lot of them. But we're just saying it's just changed. Now, okay, so gambling losses. Is there a threshold, or how is that? Could that be an issue as far as being a reimbursement in today's?
I don't think so.
So it's sort of changed.
It's changed. I think if somebody gets the community in financial straits because of gambling, you could argue that. Let's say, for example, it's the wife who all of a sudden has a gambling problem and has caused financial ruin to the community. or cause the community to have a lot of excessive debt. That could be argued as a fault, habitual intemperaments, and that's one of the faults for final spousal support. So that would be considered, that could get that woman out of the running for final support, but it's not going to affect the division of property.
That's interesting. All right, now this is sort of off the wall. Let's say you had a husband and wife who traveled all the time, and they had frequent flyer malls. How do you deal with that?
Divide them. Done it before.
You did?
Yeah, you can divide them.
So, well,
you really can't put a value on them per se. I mean, I guess if you went and looked and you spent, I don't know, what is it? They're not even worth $1. I don't really know. I've never had them valued before, but they could be valued. We've just divided them before.
And the airlines let you? I guess they would.
Well, you can transfer points. You can transfer your points.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
So you did. So it's just
like if I wanted to pay for one of the kids' flights somewhere, I could transfer my points to them.
All right.
Or you can. I've used it as a bargaining chip before too.
All right. Oh, here's another one. How you deal with?
Are you going to ask me about something I don't know?
No, you do. No. Oh. I was just.
I thought you were going to talk about crypto.
Well, okay. No. Yeah. No, I wasn't going to ask you about that. And this was interesting. I remember 32 years ago, 1980. Was it 30? 1992. So it's 37 years ago. I was at a NFL Players Association meeting for agents, and I'd met a guy. He said, I'm getting out." He says he was going to give up his stop representing players, and he said, "I'm going to start investing in pet cemeteries." And I was like, and we had this long conversation. It was Willie Ellison's brother. Willie Ellison was a running back who ran for. He was a journeyman running back for the Los Angeles Rams, who had this game against the Saints where he ran 250 yards in 1970-71. It was one of those games where, in the early Saints, things happened to the Saints that would never happen to other teams. Right. So you had this Willie Ellison who ran for 250 yards. He's nothing but a journeyman running back against the Saints and just ran all over them and set an NFL record. His brother was his agent, or was an agent, and he was telling me that he's getting out the business to invest in pet cemeteries. I'm like, you got to be kidding. I said, I thought, when a pet died, you just did what you did.
You still think that?
I still think that. And so now pet owners would be appalled.
They would. They would not like you.
They would not like me. So, but I'm saying that because pets are almost like children now when it comes to families, which God bless. I don't understand it, but God bless. So I'm just saying. I'm not going there. But how do you deal with pets in a community property settlement?
Well, pets are interesting. I think it depends on. Well, I can tell you what the legality is, and when I tell people this, they think, "Well, you have no heart." They are no different than a kitchen table. They are just an asset.
They are different than a kitchen table.
You have to
kitchen tables don't mess up your
but they're
rug.
They're not some people want custody of them, and you can do whatever you want to do, but a court is never going to have a trial on custody of a dog.
They're not?
No, because it's not. No, they're not.
It would be easy for me.
I know. You would give it away. You'd say, listen, you can have sole custody of that dog. I'll terminate my rights. No, but I have done like agreements to, share the dog and drop it off and all that. But it's because the parties agree. Mm-hmm. It's not like I've tried the case and the court has rendered judgment that these parties get, joint custody of Fido. It's just not.
So they're basically treated as property.
Right. And I've argued before, people have argued, well, it was my dog. I adopted him. You weren't there at the process. And, you wind up resolving those So, and I think it depends on what court you're in, but from a legality standpoint, I don't see how you can be treated any different than an asset of the community.
All right. I got one other one before we go to break, and then after we come back from break, Coleman's got a text, which is an excellent question that he's going to hit you with. But what about a personal injury lawsuit?
Personal injury lawsuits are interesting. So pain and suffering is a separate asset. So it's like, let's say you're in a car accident and you get pain and suffering of $30,000. That's yours. A lot of times what we have as the problem is people will do a lump sum settlement. So you don't really know, was it any of it lost wages? Lost wages are not separate. Was it reimbursement of medicals? That's not separate. It's only the pain and suffering. And so, a lot of times we're going back to the PI attorney trying to get documents to show which portion of this settlement was for pain and suffering, and what portion did you assert a lost wage claim? Did you assert a loss of consortium claim? It's just trying to figure out what the element of the damages is.
So for personal injuries, in 99.9% of personal injury claims do settle.
Right.
So that's sort of it's not like when you have a jury verdict where you have, $100,000 for pain and suffering, $50,000 for future medicals, $20,000 for
right.
lost
I think
wages.
if you have, and that goes, to me, that all goes back to people need to understand what community property is when they enter into marriage. You have to learn the rules of the road before you can get a driver's license, but you don't have to learn the rules of marriage before you say I do. But for those who are knowledgeable or have an understanding and you're getting ready to go settle your PI claim, I would want to make sure that somewhere in that document, if I'm worried that I'm going to get a divorce, or if I'm worried that it's going to be a problem later in my estate, anything like that, that a settlement would at least have some type of documentation as to what the total is comprised of.
Gotcha. All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal, getting a good. If you're a law student, they listen to your hour, they would just fly through community property. They'd just fly right through it. So, all right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
Celebrate New Orleans' best local music with WWL at the Young Leadership Council's Wednesday at the Square. This concert series at Lafayette Square in the CBD, free and open to the public, showcases all your favorite local music, food, arts, and crafts. It's festival time. Time to unwind every Wednesday at the Square, Lafayette Square, starting at 5 p.m. This week's band, John Cleary and the Absolute Monster Gentlemen, presented by Abita Brewing Company, the YLC, and WWL.
It's Shag's 25th annual Fishing Tackle Tent Sale, March 18th through 21st, Wednesday to Saturday. Don't miss this one. Bigger, more free swag, more vendors, more BOGO deals. The biggest fishing tackle sale in all of Metairie. Don't miss it, Shag.
Hi, this is Sam Moody with Go Tax Resolution. Imagine if you could see the IRS's next move before they make it. Introducing the IRS Transcript Monitoring Service from Go Tax Resolution, your personal radar for tax trouble. Using state-of-the-art software enhanced with AI, we monitor IRS activity on your account 24/7. It's like credit monitoring on steroids, but for your taxes. Let Go Tax Resolution alert you to changes, actions, and potential threats, so you can stay protected, stay ahead, and stay in control. Whether it's a pending audit, a collection notice, or a new penalty, you'll know before it hits. With proactive alerts, expert analysis, and former IRS agents on your side. Know what's coming, be ready, be protected. To activate your IRS transcript monitoring, please call Go Tax Resolution at 985-722-1040 or visit GoTaxResolution.com. That's GEAUX. TaxResolution.com.
Hi, are your bad feet making work miserable? You're not alone. Here's Val, a real Good Feet store customer.
I'm a salesman. I pounded the pavement 35 years, literally. My legs ached, my feet hurt. It was sometimes embarrassing.
Yeah. They do like Entergy does, and you can either take it.
I heard an advertisement on the radio for the Good Feet store, and I said, what can I lose?
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Val get back to doing what they love without their feet getting in the way.
I walked in the Good Feet store and I said, my feet hurt. What a difference with these arch supports. When I go and talk to my customers, I've got a smile on my face. I can go all day long, and then some. It's the real deal. My name's Val, and that's my Good Feet story.
Visit us in Mandeville on the northwest corner of Highway 190 and 22, in Metairie on Veterans Memorial next to Acme Oyster House, and at goodfeet.com.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Don't let your bad feet stop you from achieving your 2026 health goals. Stop by the Good Feet store today for a free test walk.
At Terrebonne General Performance Training Center, we're your partner every rep of the way. No matter your experience, our certified strength and conditioning specialists are here to help you reach goals you never thought were possible. We offer programs designed for real results, featuring a modern fitness facility, energizing fit classes, and one-on-one personal training. Start your new year strong with a $0 enrollment fee. Call 985-850-6206 to join today.
It's Shag's Fishing Tackle Tent Sale, March 18th through 21st. Iowa, Shimano, Penn, Matrix Shag, Berkeley, Bates, much more. Free deals. Buy one, get one free deals. Shag's, biggest tackle sale in all of Metairie. Shag's, don't miss out.
Larry over here. Let me share Brian's story from Alabama, my mom's home state. He tells us after taking on the factor for just 3 weeks, at least 90% of my pain is gone. My pain had started to limit me at work and at home, and now I'm amazed at how much relief I've gotten, end of quote. These are Brian's own words, and they speak volumes about what Relief Factor can do for you. I've told you about my buddy Tom, an avid golfer, out on the green almost every single day. He says without Relief Factor, he wouldn't be able to swing freely because of shoulder pain or back pain. But since taking it, he said he stayed active, comfortable, and confident in his swing. He is a scratch golfer. That's why I encourage you to try Relief Factor yourself and see what it can do for you. Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. 800-4RELIEF, 800 the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
That's right.
Back to attorneys Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri on WWL. Stream all things legal and our time-shifted podcasts on Odyssey, TuneIn, and now on the iHeartRadio app. Or connect now on the Oakwyn Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, all things legal. All right, now we're talking, that's a little Irish music, fighting Irish. Now, this is my little pet peeve.
Okay, what is it?
Like, remember Washington, this is going back to sports.
Okay.
The Washington Redskins.
All right.
I mean, that was some valuable IP, intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
And the NFL took it away from them or forced it because
now or something?
Yeah, because a bunch of people who were not Native Americans were upset about it.
Right.
Like Native Americans were okay with it. It's just a bunch of people who weren't, who were upset for the Native Americans who weren't upset.
Yeah.
And so it was just, I thought it was just you stealing because that IP with the Redskins was very, very valuable to their franchise. I mean, who wears what's the Commanders? What kind of history does that have? But, very interesting. The Fighting Irish.
I was just thinking, why isn't somebody getting their panties in a wad about the Fighting Irish?
I know. I mean, like Notre Dame, which is, was the one of the premier universities for football, in sports and, and their mascot, man, he's like loaded.
Yeah.
He's just got out of a bar, he's got his fist up, and he's ready to fight. And nobody gets their panties in them.
I know. I thought,
in fact, it's embraced. It's like, yes, that's us. So.
Yeah, and I'm not asking for that to be taken away, but it's like there's no, I don't know, my brain wants to rationalize everything, and I'm like, those two things just don't line up. I don't really get it. But there was a bunch of stuff like that. So.
I'm so sick of people getting upset for other people who aren't upset about something.
I know. That's just what
it is. That's what they do. That's what they call it. I don't know what it is. Okay. let's go. We got a text
That's right,
from
about a pension.
Yeah, from Coleman. Coleman, what you got for us, brother?
Yes, this texter wants to know, how is a pension and 401k divided when there is a divorce?
That is a good question.
Well, they're treated separately, but a 401k, well, they're both divided kind of the same way. I guess it depends where your pension comes from. So they're both divided. The marital portion is divided by what's called a quadro, or qualified domestic relations order, and that is essentially it's another judgment, but it's basically a direction to the plan administrator on how to divide this asset. And so the contributions during the marriage are divided 50-50. A lot of times it's a hybrid asset. For example, let's say you had a spouse working for, I don't know, ABC company, and they started in 2000, but they got married in 2010. Well, those 10 years still belong to the spouse who was contributing. Let's say they were married for 10 years. Those 10 years belong to the community, 50-50. And then let's say somebody files for divorce, January 1 of 2025, and they don't divide it till January 1 of 2026. That back end is separate. So each portion earns the increases and decreases due to market fluctuation. And so we have, that's where we have experts that can tell us, go back and do a forensic accounting of the first separate property 10 years. What did that increase or decrease to? The marital, what did that increase or decrease to? And then the separate. And then it's divided by quadro. And it tells the plan, okay, from this date to this date, this belongs 50% to the spouse. It's rolled over into a separate account for the non-contributing spouse.
That's for 401.
That's for 401k.
Right.
Now, a pension is divided by a court order as well, and it's still the percentage. You get 50% of whatever the pension contributions or the pension vested time during the marriage, and that's done, and that's rolled over into another account as well. Or it's the plan is told, okay, when the spouse starts pulling, and let's say it's 1,800, I'm using very, very simple numbers, and let's say the entire thing was community. So the contributing spouse gets 900 a month, the non-contributing spouse gets 900 a month, and then the plan is directed to pay each spouse their percentage.
And so now let's talk about the receiving spouse. Let's say one of the spouses is receiving the pension, or not the 401 came from the spouse who had one. They would have to it'd have to be rolled into their own.
It's rolled into their own. And they can do one pullout without a penalty. Let's say, for example, they weren't of age yet to withdraw without a penalty. You can do one pullout, but it is taxed at ordinary income rate.
So right, okay. So they would have the option one time when receiving it from a spouse in a divorce. They could pull money out without the 10% penalty.
Now, a lot of times what we'll do is, again, this is in settlements. Let's say, for example, we owe. Let's say, for example, I have the spouse that had the 401k, and I need to do an equalization payment. Let's say I bought the house, whatever, and I owe my spouse $100,000, and I need to take it from my 401k. Well, remember, $1 in your hand is not equal to $1 in the 401k because it's taxed. So you'd have to figure out what the taxed up amount is, and then the spouse would have to give that the amount owed plus the tax up rate to the other spouse.
That's right. So
to equalize it, because you have to give it the same amount.
And I mean, in probably 99% of community properties dispositions or settlements. I mean, very very few of them go the whole process. Because one of the things when we talk about community property, it's almost, I figured out, it's almost like a 15-step process.
It's an incredibly long process, and I tell people, listen, I had one. I felt so sorry for this poor girl. It was years and years ago. All we were trying to do is get her name off of the mortgage. The other side was representing himself, and he did not understand what was going on and made it so much more complicated. My poor lady spent $10,000 simply because that's what it cost for the process. All these filings, we had to get an expert to say what the value of the house was. We had to get an expert to say, you know, and so, but it was the only way to get to the other end, to get to fix the mortgage.
Because if you have a good attorney on the other side,
you can always try to negotiate.
Right, because they understand that it is mutually destructive or expensive for all parties to go the long way, and so then you start doing horse trading.
Yes, and I always do a settlement. Like I'll sit with my client once we figure out everything, and usually by this point we've already spent a lot of money because you've had to do all your appraisals, you've had to file your sworn detailed descriptive list. Because until you understand exactly what's in the community, or exactly what the reimbursements are, you really can't see what the true picture is.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell my client, okay, here's a home run. This is what we would get. If we lose these issues that are tentative, here's what we get. And then they got to discount it, because to get that, like, so let's say to get that home run, it's going to cost you $20,000.
Right.
So that, I mean, that's how we start negotiating.
Yeah, the cost of the process is figured in. Now, we just finished one over the course of, I think, 2 years, and I think it was over the course of 10 days for a community property settlement. And the difference is, like, if we're trying a hurricane case, or we're trying a personal injury case, or what have you, a business litigation case, you're just dealing with one number. In other words, what's that number at the end?
Sure.
Or a hurricane case, what is that one? How much is the insurance company going to pay? But when you do it's a community property, and just for example, for the last one that we had, we couldn't. It was very complicated, but it involved a lot of speculative income that's coming in the future, and real estate developments and that sort of thing. We had to have 4 days of trial on just determining whether the assets were community or separate. So you had a whole flight of trials for that. And then we had to have another flight of trials as far as the valuations of these assets after they were valued. But the difference is you have a bunch of mini trials along the process. So you'll have issue number 1. You have a trial on that. You have testimony. You have experts. You have submissions. And then sometimes that would take a day or two, and then you go to issue number 2, and you start the trial all over again, and you have issue number 3.
In that case, you're talking about, you tried it, but I've read the transcript and helped with some after trial stuff. That was a really odd asset. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, not every community, rarely you're going to have that, but those type of issues, like speculative, like stock options, those always kind of throw for me a wrench in the process, because then you're arguing over what it could have been, when was it vested, how much was vested, and so that makes it super expensive.
And maybe we'll talk, because we'll maybe talk a little bit about the Ed Ogeron issue, because that was sort of contrary to what the law was.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, maybe, like when we went in front of the NFL Supreme Court, Justice said, well, sports is different.
Yeah.
So maybe it was different in that case.
That jurisprudence really is going to be, because it was.
I think they'll clarify. Yeah, they're going to have to clarify
they're going to
that.
clarify something.
Okay, let's go to break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
It's WWL.
We have a Dennis in Avita Springs on the phone.
Okay, good.
FM and WWL.com. Live from our Gulf Coast Bank and Trust Company studios, the bank that cares about you. Listen to our time-shifted podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you love sports, this is the show for you. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos. Weekday mornings 9 to noon Eastern on the free Odyssey app and YouTube at The Costos. Bringing you the biggest NFL news, guests, and notes from the offseason while getting you ready to win the madness of college hoops. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos. Live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Presented by BetMGM.
I'm not sure if you want to tackle this one, but this text came in that says, How do you make a deadbeat dad who's $30,000 back in child support paid when he's employed and paid by 1099 for him?
Okay, that's a good one. We'll do that.
Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I am grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Bobby Hebert, KJ Cannon here. Look, FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single day through March 15th. From now to that final 68 is revealed, you're getting daily profit boosts for a chance at boosted winnings on your college basketball bets. Trust me, you don't want to miss a single day. Build the same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout, or try live betting and jump in after tip-off. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. Just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. You're getting daily profit boosts for a chance at boosted winnings on your college basketball bets through March 15th. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of WWL Radio.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. Opt-in required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-7867.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait, and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-906-1788. 800-906-1788. 800-906-1788.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Newell here. If you haven't been to Vaca Steakhouse, you owe it to yourself to go. Expect an elegant setting and one of the best steaks you've ever put in your mouth. And if you're observing Lent and eating more seafood, Vaca delivers with panko-crusted shrimp, stuffed Gulf fish, crawfish and truffle mac and cheese, and crab cakes to die for. Extended happy hour weekdays from 4 to 8, plus Wednesday, girls' night, and Thursday, date night. Vaca Steakhouse in the former Pepper Mill on Severn and Metairie. Treat yourself and enjoy an experience to relish and remember.
Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business, and let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Fontes. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com.
Your reputation matters. That's why so many landscape professionals choose Gravely. You can save up to 20% on Gravely commercial mowers during the Gravely Mow the Distance sales event starting March 19th. Visit your local Gravely dealer today.
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 475-2323.
LA 167908.
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Back to all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico. Stream WWL and the shows you love on Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps. Or join us on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Let's go to phone lines. Dennis, he's from God's Country in Abita Springs.
All right.
And also the home of Don Dubuque.
I didn't know Don was from.
Yeah. His horses listen to our show every Sunday
I knew
morning.
He had horses. I just didn't know.
They listen to the show every morning. They said they enjoy it. So, what you got for us, Dennis, in God's Country?
Okay, I have 2 vehicles in my yard. They've been sitting there for years. My wife and I were doing travel nursing on the Navajo Nation for years. And we come home to my son leaving these vehicles, and he won't do nothing about them, and trying to find out what to do with it, how I can get them out.
Where does your son live?
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't spoken to him in over a year.
Here you go.
I think there's a practical way. I think I have a friend that this has happened to, but I think you can call, you can either call the state police or you can call it a wrecking company, and they will come pick up the vehicle, and then they can go through the process of having it deemed abandoned, and then get a new title, and then they can take the money off the truck. I've seen that. I've heard of that happening before. But you don't have to keep it on your property.
All right.
Yeah, there's practical ways, and then there's
the legal.
The legal ways. And so I would call. Are you in Abita proper? Or are you in just St. Thomas?
No, I'm right south of Abita, and I'm right down the block from Don Dubuque.
Okay, well, I would call then. Yeah. So you're not. So you're going to be under the jurisdiction of just St. Tammany Parish. I'd call the sheriff's office, or you can either call a towing company, tell them the situation, and they know all the laws.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
You're welcome.
All right. Tell Don hello when you see him at the neighborhood Walmart.
Or his horses.
Or his horses. So thanks for the call, Don. You know, Don. I'm not a fisherman and I'm not a hunter.
Really?
Yeah, really. At LSU, I mean, all my friends were fishermen and hunters.
I know.
And when they found out, like Don and I, we've been friends since for 18 years, I guess, through the station. And they're like, and Don's like, come fishing with me. And I'm like, and they get so upset because like Don knows where every fish was.
And that's just not your cup of tea.
I know. But I feel like it's a waste to have
it's not a waste. You're leaving an empty space on his boat for somebody who really.
That's right. So I'm hoping Don's enjoying his retirement. He worked. He was great. He was absolutely great. We were at the station where we missed him. And all those hunters, man, they get up at 4 a.m. All the hunter fishermen, they wanted to know where to go. And Don used to tell them where to go, bro. All right. Yes. And again, I was thinking of all these terms, declaration of
parapherналity.
Parapherналity. There you go. Which you can do to
keep your stuff.
Keep your stuff while you're married.
Simple ways. Keep your stuff.
Keep your stuff. And that would be easier. Now, I always go back to.
But remember, now you have to tell your spouse. So, and I like that portion because I had some cases years ago where we were finding them and the spouse didn't know. And then the separate property, a lot of them were oil royalties, were paying for the community. And then, she wound up having this, hundreds of $1,000s reimbursement. So I think acknowledgement is required. But then how do you go tell your spouse, hey, listen, I love you so much, but I'm getting this $500,000 inheritance and you can't share it at all.
Right. So when you're at Ruth's Chris Steak for a romantic dinner.
Yeah, don't bring up the declaration.
Don't bring up the declaration.
No, I wouldn't. I would just let that fly.
The timing needs to be better, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so that's good. That's not only legal advice; it's just practical advice. More practical advice for dealing with that. And I think we're on. You can rewind on a podcast on Odyssey. I recommend every community property law student at Loyola and Tulane and LSU to listen to it.
There's so many other issues. I mean, like the Ed Ogeron contract.
Yeah.
And there's so many different
Well, you know, because what happened with Coach O was he filed for divorce, and then after 2 years after he got divorced, he got fired on a contract, but he had to conduct post-marriage obligations to get that settlement.
That argument is aligned to your argument you used in that long trial.
Right.
But unlike in your case, yours was not contractual, so to speak.
It was more speculative.
His was contractual, and so what the Supreme Court held was that binding term sheet that he signed during the marriage is what triggered the buyout, and therefore the right to the buyout. Even though he had to do the actions, he did the actions after the marriage, they determined, remember, they were only looking at classification.
Yeah.
That the contract or the binding sheet itself giving that right was executed during the marriage, therefore was a community asset.
Yeah, but I think that was contrary to the prevailing thought of most of the people in your...
It was right. And that's kind of one of those cases where you're thinking about it, and the attorneys or anybody, when you think about it, you're thinking about a bunch of different issues. And so it's kind of like I always do when I'm in court or I'm at the hearing officer. I'm always like, okay, all that sounds great, but let's go back to what is the basic principle here? What are we really talking about? You're really talking about classification of a contract. And so the contract created what right? And then, okay, so when was that contract or when was that right put into existence?
Spoken like a Dominican grad. There you go. We got to go to break. Yes. Let's go to break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
WWL is proudly sponsored by Dudley DeBosier Injury Lawyers. Call 444-4444.
That's 444-4444. Non-attorney spokesperson, Chad Dudley, New Orleans.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday. Scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list, and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
This is Jason from Burkhardt. We really care about keeping you comfortable and helping you save. One way we can do that is by giving your air conditioning system a detailed tune-up and safety check. It'll improve system efficiency to keep energy bills down and help prevent a breakdown. We're out doing tune-ups in your neighborhood now, so call us to schedule yours. Or, if you know it's time to replace your system, right now we can make you more comfortable and help you save with our new high-efficiency equipment. For
How long
air
are we going to have?
conditioning, visit Burkhardt at AC
For
Prime.
close.
Yeah. About 3 minutes.
3 minutes? Okay, good. All right.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Don't let bad feet stop you from being active and getting healthy. Trade in your bad feet.
That sounds like AI Kermit the Frog right there.
He drives, he shoots at the buzzer. Score lifetime oil
People
changes
being
at
proficient
Kia
to
of
know the real
Make
thing
your
from
own
the
gold.
AI.
Invest with Southern Coins and find your pot of gold. SouthernCoins.com.
Windows door siding, ReliefWindows.com. Oh, we do shutters too.
Flow Resources, complete employer solutions. FlowResources.com.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized.
Let's say 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Gotcha.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
My My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
It's all things legal on WWL and streaming live on the Odyssey, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio apps. To consult with Doug Sunseri or Albert Nico, call their office at 504-837-1304 or connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Michelle, thank you for giving us your expertise on community property. That was a good lesson. If you noticed, Big Lou doesn't advertise when you're on the show. Because Big Lou is like scared to death that you're going to get number 3.
Big Lou's got some great advertise. I like his commercials. I think
he hangs out at the Caddy Shack. He's got a pinky ring.
Does he really?
He's got a bad toupee. Toupee. Sort of loud. You know, he's always flirting with the waitresses.
I bet you if you really saw him, I bet he's absolutely separate, opposite.
No. He's Big Lou. I'm telling you.
Oh, really?
That's Big Lou. And so, he, if you get number 2, if number 2 decides to leave him, he wants no part of you.
That's funny.
So he stays away.
That's funny.
But yeah, so you can call us at our office at what's the North Shore office?
985-624-9697.
Yeah, or 504-837-1304, or we'll have another number 504-214-9111. So if you got that's a 911 if you need a 911 call. So you go 504-214-9111, and Albert will be back next week. In 2 weeks we'll be off. And Albert will have a guest. To be determined. So
Coleman, thank you.
Yeah, Coleman, great job. And I don't know if I would give everybody a last invite to Albert's
you could just do a shout
party.
out.
Just do a shout out to Albert, and he'll if you run out of libations, go see Albert. Tell him you're a listener. He'll pour.
There you go.
He's got plenty of supply. So y'all have a wonderful time at the St. Patrick's and St. Joseph celebrations. We're going to see the Savannah Bananas at 3 o'clock. So we'll see that see 50,000 people at a baseball game. See you next week on All Things Legal.
Saints, LSU, and Pelican. 70 AM, WWL New Orleans, 105.3 WWL FM and HD1 Kenner, New Orleans.
WWL.
Thanks, Coleman.
I'm Dave.
All right.
Have a good one.
Station W. Enjoy the bananas.
I will.
Warm Sunday ahead.